Bitcoin at over $92,000, gold at $4,500, silver at over $84. And an investigation is underway against Powell. What a way to start Monday. And with that, a warm welcome to a new crypto update video. Yes, it really is a wild Monday, one really has to say, against the poll. In my opinion, Trump has completely lost it. An investigation is underway against Powell. This is all just about lowering interest rates so that, in the end, the huge deficit can somehow be made affordable, something Trump is actually less responsible for, but all the other presidents are just as much to blame as he is. And now they're simply launching an investigation against Powell. Unbelievable. We're going to take a calm look at all of this now. But before we get started, as always, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, you're welcome to join. You'll find the link for it for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we discuss here, then feel free to check out my partner, Exchange BingX, and sign up there. At the moment, you can get up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses if you complete certain tasks or reach specific trading bonuses. Feel free to sign up. You can there trade Forex, crypto, stocks, and all sorts of things. So now I would say Bitcoin, Bitcoin is actually holding up pretty well, I have to say. 92,000 US dollars. We got a push going into Monday. First of all, we received that. That also means, of course, that we can now draw our new Asia range here once Tokyo has fully closed. But in any case, it's already a nice range that's been set here, between 90,500 and 92,500. But I think the topic that everyone is interested in right now is this topic. Fed Chair Powell responds after federal prosecutors open a criminal investigation into him. It's really unbelievable what means are being used these days, and for the very first time, Powell is actually not staying silent, you have to say, but he's speaking out himself, saying that in the end, it's all just a farce by Trump, or simply just so that the Fed doesn't do what the president wants. And he's absolutely right about that. I've been saying for weeks now that it's not good when a US president interferes in the affairs of the Federal Reserve, because that undermines the Fed, which in turn can, of course, also have consequences for the dominance of the dollar, which surprisingly is still holding up relatively well. Let's see what the futures actually do over the course of the day, although it has to be said, the futures, yes, US stock futures drop with dollar on threat to Fed. So even there, we're already seeing a slight decline. That's not a good sign, and in my opinion, it overshadows Monday for now, especially since we also have the CPI data coming up this week, plus the whole tariff issue that's still pending. I think the official decision on that is supposed to come on Wednesday, but it's not a good sign when the Fed is being undermined. Bitcoin is initially reacting positively to this, of course, because Bitcoin was actually created to be strong against the dollar, or rather, to exist as an alternative currency. We're currently fighting a bit over the 92,000 level, no matter how it looks on the 1 hour time frame. It didn't look too bad just now. There was a good influx of volume, but it's still nothing extraordinary yet. The only thing I already mentioned yesterday in the live stream is that we have, for the first time in months, positively tested the 200 SMA. That's this purple line here on the 4 hour time frame, and we're currently moving away from it. That's a positive sign. Now, what don't I like? I'll get to that now. Over the weekend, we only saw buying in the spot order book. Meanwhile, selling has clearly outweighed buying again. So as soon as we cross that threshold again, as soon as we break through 91,000 US dollars, there's immediately massive selling again. And now more has already been sold off than we bought in spot over the weekend. So that's already a clear sign that, okay, we're back at 92,000 now. The selling pressure is clearly higher. And this whole issue with the Federal Reserve shouldn't be swept under the rug at all, because it's really a bigger matter. If Trump really wants to undermine the Fed here now, so you definitely have to keep a very close eye on this going forward. At the moment, in any case, strong selling pressure. If we take a look at the heat map on high block, we can see that we still have, and not much has changed there, the largest liquidity at 94, 95,000. But you also have to say, at 88K, there's another significant cluster. Otherwise, we're simply still in the range. Bitcoin slowly but surely needs to decide which direction it wants to go now. But everything above, let me say everything up to 97K is simply our bear flag. Everything up to that point is our bear flag and would still fit our pattern where we say, okay, we go up to here, 97, 98,000, then we would have a beautiful AB, and the C would then, in the end, be the end of our bear flag and the start of the downtrend to the downside. We'll see what happens now. I'm curious. This week will, not go by unnoticed, in my opinion. So if the week is already starting like this, who knows what else is coming? Apart from the fact that we're going to get the inflation data tomorrow anyway. Yeah, let's see. It's definitely going to be a fun week. Otherwise, let's take a quick look at the funding rates. What do they look like? I don't know if I still need to update them. No, it's fine. They still look pretty good. So Bitcoin definitely still has some room to move up. Let's move over to the altcoins. They're pumping too. We talked about it yesterday. For me, Ethereum has a kind of target price, if I could choose, 3.5 to 3.8. On the one hand, because of the 0.382 or 0.5 Fibonacci retracement levels, which are up here. That would also fit perfectly into a classic A, B, C correction overall. At the moment, we're on a good path volume-wise, but to be honest, just look for yourself. There's simply no volume right now. Not really great. Solana, considering that Bitcoin pumped upwards, Solana only really just barely pumped and formed a slightly higher high than this previous high here. At the same time, this means a bearish divergence, the high close below the last high. You know what I'm getting at? That's not good. Still, my price target, $145 to just under $150 would be ideal right here, finally filling this huge vector candle. Then taking out this high, grabbing the liquidity that would simply complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave movement. And once we're up here in the end, I'm also considering opening a new short position here. Let's move over to gold. Gold is breaking, well, just about $4,600, which is really insane, but understandable given all the uncertainties, the situation with Israel and Iran, and now, of course, what Trump has just said about the Fed. No, for me, absolutely not. Now, aside from the short bot that I still have open, for me, it's just gold and silver shorts are absolutely off limits. I mean, just look at this. Silver hitting a new all-time high. Another move up again. Sure, the volume keeps decreasing, but no, I'm not shorting this thing. If there are any long opportunities or buy opportunities, then those, but shorting right now, no way. The only ones that worked were here and here. But otherwise, I think the geopolitical situation is even more under pressure now with what's happening right now. And in my opinion, that can't be good. As far as I'm concerned, gold can go towards $5,000 now and silver towards $100, with silver's target roughly being $100 anyway. Now, next we'll have to see what happens. But no, that's just not good, I'm telling you honestly. Meanwhile, USDJPY remains at a high level. We're slowly entering the intervention zone, which isn't really great either. Euro, US dollar, if the fourth wave has now been completed, which in turn could lead to, if we think a bit further, if Japan, supposedly there's also going to be an extraordinary meeting this week from the Bank of Japan, which could result in the dollar falling, safe haven assets, and then the euro and yen pumping significantly upwards. If we take a quick look at Japanese government bonds, you can see for yourself they are still absolutely under pressure. The yen is now at a very low level, so there really needs to be some movement from the Bank of Japan soon. From the Bank of Japan. There's a lot going on. We're only, well, let's say in the third week of this year. And it's absolute chaos. You could really say that. Really, or maybe it's just the second real trading week, but it's absolute chaos, honestly. So with everything that's happening now, I'm really curious, especially, of course, about how the stock markets will react to all this and what kind of chain reaction this whole process will set off. We talked about it yesterday in the live stream. The Nasdaq, yes, has broken out of the trend channel, but volume is decreasing. The S&P 500, yes, we have a new all-time high, but volume is decreasing. We have massive bearish divergence. The Dow Jones, yes, we have a new all-time high, but volume is decreasing. When you reach an all-time high, you want to see higher volume or at least an upward trend, but we're not seeing that. Honestly, what we're seeing more and more is a narrowing trend channel, which sooner or later will break. Sure, there's still quite a bit of room here, but still these are simply warning signs, and in my opinion, this is something that shouldn't be underestimated. At the same time, we have massive short bets from smaller traders on the VIX, meaning they're betting on less volatility. Meanwhile, hedge funds are going heavily long on the VIX, the volatility index, expecting that we'll soon see a spike upwards. And due to the uncertainty, we're seeing for ourselves right now that the volatility index is trying to break out to the upside. That's the current state of things. If there's any new development, I'll definitely keep you updated. Of course, also in the Telegram group, Otherwise, yes, stop loss is king, I'd say, especially in times like these. I'm curious to see how this story will continue to unfold. Powell has made a statement, Trump not so much yet, but this is going to be an absolute shit show, guys. I'll be honest with you, if this keeps going like this, it's not good. But all right, let's see what happens. I'm curious. Otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side for now. I think you're well prepared for today. Yeah, trade with a stop loss, and in general, just be cautious for now. I'm looking forward to the market opening. And that's it from my side. I wish you a nice, relaxing day. Take care. See you next time. Ciao, ciao. And as always, stay crypto.